Well, good morning, everybody. You are in the right place. I am Leah McCann, your guest host for the Pivot Call today. And believe it or not, it is Wednesday, July 19th. We're super excited to be here. We had an amazing pre-show call all about smart plans, touches, how to really mine your database. So I would encourage you, if you are not on the pre-show, hop on. Even if you can't be on camera, it's something to listen. Those are not recorded. The other thing I wanted to share is several of you have had trouble getting into the pivot call. There is no more links, so you need to go into your email and use the original link that you received. Everybody's going to get a new link starting on Monday. So take a deep breath. We've got you. James is coming back. So just be on the lookout for a new link coming to you. The other thing that we want to share with you is it's Founders Week. So Founders Week is in honor of Gary Keller's birthday. And basically creating an opportunity for KWKC, Keller Williams Kids Can, to continue to support the next generation, to help them discover who they are, discover their goals, really challenge themselves. And the Pivot Shift Ahead has historically been one of the top donors for this event. So stay tuned. There's going to be a link posted in the Pivot group later today, as well as Bria and Nakia will be sharing that on the call, because James has set a goal of $20,000. And I know we can do it. We have some of the greatest KWKC Quantum Leap instructors, and Jenny and Jordana. We want to support them in that community. So be on the lookout. New link coming to you for Monday for the Zoom call, and Founders Week, we are going to hit that goal. Before we get into our topic, I want to hear a few Tell Me Something Goods. And I see Janet Raby-Meyer, you are up first.
Hello, Leah. Thank you so much. Good morning from sunny Daytona Beach shores, everybody. I am so grateful to this group, and I'll tell you why. At some point, probably in August last year, a non-pivot shifter had posted in the referral groups, that they needed a referral partner down here. And you guys really put my name into the hat. So I was able to be one of the 3 people who interviewed for the job of listing this condo from a snowbird. And it's been a long and twisting, turning road, 2 hurricanes and many other things. But we're under contract for that property, and it's contingent on the sale of a yacht. But you know what? It's all coming together. But my point is, Ann Hergenrader is one of my new best friends. She's been so helpful. She's in Virginia. She's now a pivot shifter because I got her into our group. But keep track of where your business comes from. So I've got the people whose house in the background here, it went on the market last week, full price offer. They put an offer in on a condo because they're downsizing. We negotiated a good deal. It's under contract. And I had another closing 2 weeks ago that came from the same property that Ann referred me, because I did a bunch of open houses. I met people, I followed up, I did all the things. So thank you to Ann, and thank you, friends, for supporting me last year, which helped me get this. So yay, you're awesome. Thank you.
Fantastic. This community is connected in ways that are deeper than we can ever imagine. And Janet, you're just proof of that. And also just continue to show up and be a good human being and serve the community, and you will be rewarded in abundance. So thank you for sharing that. Mary Ellen, you've got your hand up, and then we're going to get into the content.
And mine's real quick. I just wanted to say I have my first transaction for 2024 under contract. So that's exciting, and new construction. So I can't believe that you're always thinking about 2024. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of a fun fact for today.
Well, the good news is you're employed in 2024. So
there
yes,
we
should always be building a pipeline of abundance long past that next transaction. So congratulations to you. Okay, so we're going to be on pages 93 to 95 of MREA. And I'm curious, how many times in the last couple of weeks have you guys heard add value, provide great service, or maybe you've heard in the absence of value, price matters, costs come up. So I'm curious, put in the chat, don't come off mute because that might get a little wild. How many of you, just yes or no, how many of you defined value by something that's maybe tangible? Yes or no, there's no right or wrong. It's not a quick question, trick question. How many of you define value by something that's tangible? Okay. Now, how many of you define value by an experience? By how you feel? Here's what Gary has to say about this on page 93 of MREA. He says this: virtually every top producing agent we have ever worked with has a deep and almost inherent sense of service. They have a servant's heart and place their buyer or seller's real estate experience above all else. They are always thinking service. We've discovered that their service approach exists at 3 levels. The purpose, we know why a buyer and seller sell, right? Buyers buy because they need a home, sellers sell because they want to net money and move on to something else. And then there's value proposition, which we're going to talk about. And then there's fiduciary. So when you think of value proposition on page 94, he says the very best real estate agents are able to translate the purpose, why buyers buy and why sellers sell, and then the reason people should hire them, into a specific set of services that they will provide. We have come to call this the agent's value proposition. So why are we talking about this? Well, FSBOs are on the rise. Expired listings are growing every single day. More and more consumers are thinking they can do this on their own. And quite frankly, some of them can, and they're going to be just fine. However, the majority of people out there right now in this market, they need you. They need you to navigate this. They need you to help them walk through some of the most trying times. Think about us as agents. We need this community, not because of the information we hear, but the way we feel when we leave this call and the experience we get when people show up for us. So I want to hear from you. And if you are a brand new agent and you're thinking, gosh, when somebody asks me, why should they hire me? I don't even know how to answer that. I want to hear from you too, because I want you to leave this call empowered to know you have value. And it's written on page 95. For any of you that aren't sure, it's on 95. But I want to hear from new agents. I want to hear from you seasoned agents. What is your value proposition, and why should people hire you in a market like we're in right now? Renee Forsyth, your hand was up first.
Yeah, good morning. Sorry, guys, twice in a day. So value is huge to me because I have imposter syndrome, because those of you that don't know me, I'm in a chair. A lot of times I do most of my business virtually. So I do walkthroughs for new houses, for listings. I do buyer appointments. All of that is done via Zoom. And so I have to work on connection and portraying my value to my clients in a very high level. Other words, I don't get picked and it doesn't go well. And in the times where I've thought that I've conveyed it, but I haven't confirmed. So that's going to be my message for today. Continue to confirm value at all steps, because people hear you differently. And learning to ask the question, what did you hear, after you've explained something, because value comes in intangible things, things you can touch and things that they can grasp with their hands, staging, paint color choices, whatever that may be. And then it also comes in that expert knowledge and the understanding and the handling of keeping the emotions between the lines, and, handling I always say the wrinkles, because every single transaction is going to have a wrinkle before it closes. So how are we going to handle the wrinkles? And letting them know that they're going to come. Don't smooth everything over all the time and make it look that easy, because quite frankly, I think we all do that a little too much. Mm-hmm. But acknowledge the fact that this is going to be a little bit difficult, but that's why you're here. We're here because we do this every day. And if you're newer, understand this is your job to do every single day. That's why you're on this call. Yep. And the greater understanding that you can get from every single step in the process, the more ways that you can describe every single step in the process, and understanding that if you find out that the sewer line is busted and it's a $20,000 fix, or if the roof is shot or whatever it may be, yep, this happens. and we just keep moving forward. You take it in stride, you break down each and every step, you be the problem solver. Anyway, that's our job, is to keep
Yeah.
the calm. So
Love it. Thank you, Renee. I heard, what did you hear? Fantastic. Dean Moss.
Hey, good morning. Thank you so much, Leah, for the opportunity. Thanks for hosting today. The way I look at it is this: you really don't need an agent unless something goes sideways. Well, guess what? Most of the time, something in the transaction goes sideways, echoing what Renee just said, very profound. You know, the analogy I use is if you're flying in an airplane and you're going across the country, and if everything is smooth and everything is fine, you'll get up in the airplane, you'll sit down, you'll have your 3 pretzels and 2 cups of coffee, and everything will be cool. But what happens if you hit turbulence? Most of the time along any flight of any distance, somewhere along the line, there's turbulence. And those are the times you need a skilled pilot to get you through it. And that's what you are in a real estate transaction. You could go smoothly and everything could be fine and nothing's happening. Your buddy told you they sold without an agent and nothing happened. But what about those times when something goes wrong? What you are, more than anything else, is a fiduciary, in my view. Because what you're doing is you're protecting your clients from those things likely to go wrong. And if you want to set your, I'm passionate about this, sorry, you could see. If you want to set your USP, unique value proposition, it says, I am going to be your shield. I'm going to be your Captain America. And that's what you need when you get, that's what you get when you hire us. And that's what we're going to do. So I often go into a listing presentation with it used to be a big sheet of paper. Okay, now you can show them emails. And they say, well, what can go wrong in a real estate transaction? What I used to do is be the size of a Chicago phone book, and I'd drop it on the table at some height. I go, that can go wrong. And when that goes wrong, even if it goes wrong, but when that goes wrong, don't you want somebody as your fiduciary to help you and protect you? That's why you're hiring me, pure and simple.
Yeah. So I love that you shared
share
that. Yeah, thank you. I love that you shared that. And that's actually the third piece of it. We talked about the purpose, the value proposition, and the fiduciary. What I want to get back to is the value proposition. And again, it's on page 95. The most important thing we think about, and some of you have touched on this, is their needs. Dan Tamarkin, what do you have?
So the best person that I've ever heard articulate value proposition is Stephen Gendel. And Stephen is a top agent in Northeast United States, New Jersey. And this is what he says. He says, you know, while most agents do what he calls vanilla real estate, I do 6 things that no one else does. And I know that because I created it. And then he talks about his buyer and waiting program, his reverse offer program, 1-hour open house program, all-day open house program, his best bid event, and his integrated AI marketing event. So now he's definitely set himself apart from everyone else because everyone else does vanilla real estate. The list that we have on page 95 is a great starting point. If you're new and don't know what you should be doing, start there. And then what Stephen has done is he's articulated very clearly what makes him different, where he adds additional value. And if you're looking for additional places, I'll put this in the chat in a moment, but if you're looking for additional places, this is a great book, Ninja Selling. They have a lot of really, it's about customer service and developing them into your systems. And you know, the other thing I wanted to just add is that customer service is both about deliverables, tangibles, but it's also about how you make people feel. And it's little things, going that extra inch that people talk about. And we can go the extra inch all day long and add it into our process. So as soon as someone closes, we send them a card. As soon as someone gets past inspections, we send them a little gift, just letting them know, hey, we hear you, we know where you are. And so those little things add value throughout the process and make the whole experience that much better. And that's what I want to share. The last thing, is the customer experience class, KW class. Leah, I don't know if you've taught it before, but it's an amazing class. And I definitely recommend that. So that's a third resource. I'll put those in the chat.
Absolutely. I love that you said that. And I'm going back to, again, the value proposition that we as agents, yes, the tangible things, helping them navigate the transaction, it all starts with that needs analysis. And when I mentioned the whole expired listing and for sale by owners and upset sellers, the market's not moving the way they thought it was supposed to move. And I, you know, I have the privilege of coaching some top agents, and we're skipping some of those steps, right? We're relying on our strength and the fact that we've sold a ton of homes in the last few years, and we got away from the very basic of understanding, why does somebody actually hire a real estate agent to begin with? especially on the listing side. They need you, and they need you because you are the economist, you're the expert. Of course, you're going to walk them through the turbulence, you're going to do all of that. But if we can't even understand their needs and their whys, we're not going to be able to get to the turbulence down the road, right? Julie Hess, I see you nodding your head. I bet you got something juicy to
I
share.
am nodding my head. You've hit on so much, and Dan, I was just telling my husband about that, about understanding, everybody's needs. So I wrote some notes when COVID hit. I thought there's many blessings in COVID, but the one thing, I started in 2010, and when I started in 2010, all I kept hearing was that Zillow, Redfin, iBuyer, Purple Door, they all wanted to put us out of business. They were after us. They were saying you don't need to have a real estate agent. And then COVID hit. And I don't know about you guys, but I had more phone calls during COVID from people that wanted to buy, wanted to continue to move forward. And they didn't reach out to Zillow, Redfin. They reached out to us, the local real estate agents. So that was a big blessing. Like, yes, they need us. And boy, was that a time. And then the value proposition simply is that this is our full-time job. We're in real estate all day long. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you're in the medical field all day long. I know nothing about what you do, and yet this is what we do. And when you say about their needs, one of the things that we've been took from another agent is when we're sitting with them, really finding out what their needs are. They are busy, busy, busy. Let our team take this from you.
Yes.
Let our team get that vendor to your home. Let me get that power washer to your home. You are busy. This is what we do day in and day out. So our job, really, our value proposition is how can we make this process easy for them and smooth for them? And then I'm reading a book right now I thought was great, Profit in the Chair. It's not out yet. And he said to someone, you do have a great job, and yet it's not a good job for you. So when I think of the for sale by owners, yes, Mr. For sale by owner, you can sell your home yourself, and yet will you sell it well? Will you net the most amount of money? Will you be able to negotiate on your behalf? And so those are just a few notes. And I just wrote, we are the experts, and we need to act as experts and go out there and let them know this is what we do day in and day out. So just a few notes.
Fantastic. Julie, you always have great nuggets to share that's just palatable and people can understand it. So thank you. Daniel Nichols, you've got your hand up.
Yes, thank you. So straight from my listing presentation, one thing that I present to my buyers or sellers all the time is one of my very last slides on my listing presentation. It says a promise. So with that being said, I promise you to serve the community as a leader in real estate and as a friend, as his neighbor. To always do the right thing, even when it isn't the easiest. Sometimes real estate is about having those tough conversations, to take care of your needs at the highest level through unparalleled professionalism and attention to detail. And they need to understand that any request of theirs is not too small to me. And to serve as a trusted local expert, you're saying that earlier, we are advising them and we're standing by their side. And it's very important that they trust us because, this is a very big financial decision that they are making in their life. So to consistently and clearly communicate with them as frequently and in a manner that they would prefer is very important. And then I also say a promise to treat you and your family with straightforwardness, integrity, and respect at all times, to answer your request, ease your concerns, reduce your stress, and expertly handle the entire real estate transaction from listing to close and beyond. That's very, very important to me. And I think I get that point across to my sellers. And I can tell you, yesterday I had a listing appointment. And as a newer agent, they actually go to my church and they know a little bit about me. And then I 6 months into it. And they were interviewing 3 other agents after me. And I was just stopping by a week early to give them some information about the property. And they actually ended up wanting to do a whole listing interview then. So when I sat down and got to the slide, they pretty much told me, you know what, I think we don't need to see anyone else. I think we love what you have to say and we're going to go ahead and go with you. So
fantastic, yeah. Daniel, lots of amazing shares. And many of you have heard about the promise. Mike Hicks started that. And as everybody has built their business, they've started to internalize, what is your promise? And can you say it with confidence, like Daniel just said? Do you know it inside and out? And do you believe that that is how you can serve your community? Rodney, I haven't heard from you today, so I'm going to call on you to close us out.
Good morning. Thanks for letting me share. So my value add is my job is whatever their goals are, real estate related or not. And I constantly remind them of that. So my value add changes from client to client because goals change from client to client. And so when I'm doing a listing presentation, and I learned this from an MREA that came and taught a class, now I walk in and I was like, so what are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? And let's say they say price. And I'm like, okay, so price is important to you. What is it? What else are you trying to accomplish? They'll name it. I'll repeat that back along with the others. They'll name it. I'll repeat it back along with the others. And finally, they're going to say, yeah, that's about it. And that's what we talk about.
I love that, Rodney. That's fantastic. Ask great questions. Guys, Gary said this, your clients aren't loyal to you. They are loyal to the standards you represent, including the experience and value that you provide. I would dive deep into this. Be confident in the value you add. Go serve your community at the highest level. Y'all, if you didn't get your inspiration today, I am not sure what is happening. Go put in the perspiration, dig into your value proposition, be back on the pre-show tomorrow morning, 7:30. We go live on Facebook at 8 o'clock. We are going to be live with the Brie Von Pittman Von III. We can't wait to see you. Bye, guys. Have a great day.
Have a successful
Leah.